Hello, beautiful humans. This is Jaylene and Jules from the Empowering Women Project, and you're listening to the EWP podcast.
This podcast is for the women who know deep in their soul they are here for more. If you are done with the BS stories and limiting beliefs that are holding you back from your dreams becoming a reality,
come jump in the driver's seat and pave the way back home to her. This is a space for you to feel seen, heard, supported, and accepted for who you are, who you were, and who you're becoming.
Celebrating you wherever you are in your journey. Sit back, grab a tea or a wine, and come empower yourself with us. Jules and Day, let's grow. Hello and welcome back to the EWP.
Hello, beautiful humans.
Today we are welcomed by the beautiful Hayley Curtis from The Journey Home.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited to have you on today, honestly. Let's go.
Awesome. So Hayley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, a little bit about me. Well, I am soon to be 34 years old. It's my birthday in 2 days' time. I just moved back to Perth, Australia after living the last 3.5 years in New Zealand with my husband. He actually hasn't returned yet, so I'm flying solo at the moment. I have been for a couple of months. And I am just a woman who is obsessed with guiding other women back home to themselves. I'm sure we're going to get into it today, but I am an absolute Gene Keys devotee. I'm a Gene Keys guide, and it's just, I just live for this stuff. I absolutely live for it. And yeah, I guess, that's me. I'm just this obsessed with the inner road, excited, enthusiastic all the bloody time, lover of humans. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Oh, we're so happy to have you on. Your energy on your Instagram is just like insane. I've messaged Julia some of your reels. I'm like, she's so cool.
Oh gosh. Is it cool or am I the biggest loser of all time? I'm not sure. It could be one or the other.
Definitely we'll go with the cool.
Absolutely cool. And at the end of the day, as long as you love the content you're producing and you're getting what you want from it, then that's all that really matters, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't not create even if I tried to. Like, it's just such a space of authentic expression for me. And I just love it so much. I love making reels and content and bloody love it. A lot of people complain about Instagram, but I mean, what's the point? It connects us with people all over the world for free. I mean, it's a pretty amazing platform.
Amen. And your vibe attracts your tribe. Hey, when you're authentically showing up as yourself, you're going to attract the people that just love your energy. So
absolutely. And repel the people who don't like it. And that's all part of it.
Amen. Amen.
I've got goosebumps.
Same. Are you able to explain what Gene Keys are? I'm so curious myself. You did like a little reading for me. I still haven't responded in full to you yet, but holy wow. Now I'm just curious what the hell Gene Keys are. So
well, so the Gene Keys, let's in the most simple explanation, they're the 64 spectrums of human consciousness. So they're like a psychological map of your DNA. And they represent the 64 different human journeys that we embark on. And then you have your own Gene Keys profile, which actually helps you enter into the key journeys of your life so that you can access your genius and your magic. And so every single one of the 64 Gene Keys has a shadow, a gift, and a city. And so the shadow are the 64 different things that hold us back as humans, or you could even call them the 64 names of fear. They're these things that undermine us in our life and can keep us trapped and challenge us. And then we have the 64 cities, which are your highest expression of consciousness. And they're the 64 names of love. And then the gift that sits in between is the journey between the two. And it's the space that as we all start to unlock our gifts, this is where our hearts open and we not only heal ourselves, but we heal the world as well. And so the Gene Keys, when you start working with them, I mean, there's so much to it. However, it's once you embark on the journey and you start peeling it back, like it just drops deeper and deeper and deeper. but you're literally journeying from shadow to gift. You're taking the things that have challenged you so much in your life and things that have been coming up over and over and over again that you're like, how am I ever going to deal with this thing? And the Gene Keys gives you this direct roadmap of how to move through that and unlock your light and your DNA along the way. And it is incredible. And I will never get over getting to witness people take that journey and getting to see those moments drop in. It's magnificent.
Oh my God. Mind blown, jaw dropped.
Literally, we're both just like,
What?
eyes are peeled, ears are open, and you just explain it so beautifully. And you can tell that you've really found your passion.
Oh, absolutely. Like I've always been a passionate person. Like my background is in teaching. I used to be a primary school teacher and I was passionate about that. And, I enjoyed parts of the job. And then I've done other things in my life where I always bring enthusiasm, but this is different. This is like it runs through my veins. I feel like I've unlocked like a very specific genius that I have to be able to take the Gene Keys and make them practical. Because one thing about the Gene Keys, they're magnificent. I love them so much. And Richard Rudd, the author of the Gene Keys, he's just so incredible. He's on my vision board. Like my husband's not even on my vision board. Richard Rudd is, I absolutely love this man. But he's a poet. And so he's written the Gene Keys in a very poetic way where for some people it's difficult to unpack them and to really, get them. And so I feel like I definitely have a genius for being able to translate it into this language that we can hold on to and apply directly to our lives to see the journey unfold.
Wow. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's like
we know what we'll be doing after this episode.
I'm going to buy that book, honestly.
Oh, you have to.
It's like your teaching skills have come into then be able to break it down for you to then teach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what my brain has just
Absolutely.
went to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting how all of the things that we've done in life, there is no such thing as a mistake. And it even says that statement in my life's work, Gene Key. You can't take a wrong turn. And I can absolutely see how all the things that I've done in the past that weren't quite the thing or weren't quite in alignment, they were all in perfect alignment to who I am now and the skill set that I hold to be able to do what it is that I want to do. And I love that about life.
Yeah, literally. Julie is a teacher as well, so I guess she'd be able to talk into that more.
Yeah, so I was an early childhood educator, and that just wasn't enough for me. I needed more. So I went on to get my master's of education and my BA in psychology, and I just knew I'm like, I want to do more in this world. I want to support people. And so I've been teaching for 10 years now, since I've come to Australia. I'm currently teaching secondary at the moment, but I am a primary junior teacher. But I am loving secondary. They definitely give me a run for my money, that's for sure. But I'm finding more and more that I'm going towards being a light worker and being a healer and being more in that space of supporting women and opening up my, my repertoire of skills and knowledge about healing to these women. And I'm doing that through my little healing business, Sweetgrass Circle of Healing. And so I find very similar. I'm able to do Zoom learnings and able to hold the space for them and very much have the skill set to be able to do all of this from my past. So, and as much as I love teaching, I'm very passionate about it. I am finding that I'm moving in the direction of using those skills. So I'm doing both at the moment, and who knows where the next couple of years will take me. But yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying in terms of, nothing is a mistake. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything happens in perfect divine timing, as we always say.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing.
Yeah. What got you into going down the Gene Keys? Like, how did you learn it? Like, yeah, tell us all.
Yeah, so I guess, my journey started back in 2015, 2016. This is back when I was still teaching full time, and I was ever so slowly getting more and more unwell. It started when I was about 18, where I was like my energy isn't great. And then over the next sort of 6, 7 years, it got progressively worse, and to the point where in 2016 my body just completely gave out, and I was the whole year off work, and I couldn't get out of bed, and my organs were shutting down. It was really hectic, and like I couldn't stand up because my feet were like balloons, and I just couldn't. It was a really, really rough time of my life. My lymphatic fluid had started having issues, and in that season of my life, when I couldn't work anymore, I couldn't see my friends anymore, I just felt so sick all of the time. My world just completely crumbled, and who I thought I was completely crumbled. And I realized that my entire worth, my entire identity was built upon the external, was built upon what I looked like and what I could achieve and what I could do. And when I was left without any of those things, I was just a complete shell of a human. And I was like, I have no fucking idea who I am. And that led me down a road of like really intense anxiety. I was having anxiety attacks all of the time, and I couldn't cope. And also my health was in such a bad way that was like, am I going to die? It was a really, really horrible season. However, best thing that ever happened to me, because I realized like, okay, Hayley, if you're going to make it through this, you need to know who you are. Like I felt like I was this leaf in the wind, like I had nothing to stand on. It was just everything was whipping me in every direction. And so at my rock bottom moment, I just had this realization that you need to find out who you are. And I was thinking, how the heck am I going to do that? And something in my soul just said, you need to write, you need to write, you need to write. And so I'd never journaled before. And I decided, all right, I'm going to put pen to paper. And I just committed to writing 2 sentences every day and just start there, because that's all the energy I really had. And what started as that small commitment turned into this deep, incredible inward journey where I wrote my way home to myself over a few years. And it wasn't until about 5 years into that where I'd like gone deep, and it was just being me. Like I wasn't using anything to help me. I was just peeling back the layers of myself and dealing with past traumas and all this stuff. And then the gene keys just kept popping up randomly online. And I was just, every time I'd see it, I was like, what is that? Like I get this kind of little tug, like, oh, I'm interested in that. But then I wasn't listening to it, which I would never do that again. Like I trust those tugs now. Obviously it was pulling me, and it took me like a year until eventually I saw it one time on Instagram. I was like, right, I am freaking buying this book. I ordered it and it arrived on my doorstep, and I opened up this book just expecting, oh yeah, like here's another personal development thing that like I can have a little look at. I started reading the introduction and I just started bawling. And I had this complete spiritual experience where I just felt my soul say like, Hayley, you're going to be here for decades. Like this is what you have been writing your way towards this whole time. And then my experience of first digging into the gene keys, where you start with your life's work gene key, which describes like what you're here to do in the world, but also like your biggest challenge. And as I was listening to Richard Rudd's audio contemplation of it, he said word for word 2 sentences I had already written in my business manifesto. My business is called The Journey Home. And he said, this is the gift of journeying home. Like, I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he was putting into words everything that I had been peeling back for years. And then as I've continued my exploration, that's just what it's been. It's just felt like the most synchronistic thing, like it's the words of my soul on a page. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history from there. I dug into it for myself for a long time. And then just naturally, because my business used to be called Soulful Journaling, and it was just about journaling. That's what I taught. And ever so slowly, I just started sharing the gene keys. And then I did this group coaching program, and I brought the gene keys into it. And I was like, oh, it was just so incredible that then I just shift over time. And now I am essentially mainly just a gene keys business. But that's just been like a gradual evolution. And so, yeah, we were meant for each other.
I mean, I got tears in my eyes. We get emotional in a collaboration, I swear to God. That's so beautiful. Like, yeah, you've just Yeah, and books, you just I'm the same. Like you pick up some books and they just change your complete world. Like honestly, like
Absolutely.
what was that book again? Can you
The Gene Keys.
yeah, the Gene Keys, that's
It's
all.
just called The Gene Keys. So The
Wow,
Gene
okay.
Keys has the book, which
Yeah.
has the 64 gene keys in there, and there's an explanation of each city, gift, and shadow.
Yeah.
But then there's so much more to the gene keys other than just the book, because then once you bring your profile into it, and as you start to journey into each of those, like all of that stuff isn't in the book, like what your life's work is, what your EQ, your IQ, your Pearl gene key, that's all through online learnings. That's all through like that's what I take people through. Then there's all these audios, and there's like it is the biggest transmission. Like
Yeah.
to go through everything that the Gene Keys has, I mean, it'd be a lifetime. Like it's very deep, wide, and broad. But the Gene Keys book is definitely where you start.
Wow, sis.
Yeah.
And I would all be ordering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
It's
made me so
incredible.
emotional too, just to hear your journey and you know how you combated all of that. And did you do that all on your own, or did you have like some professional support along the way?
Yeah, I did it all on my own. I had my beautiful husband. I'm gonna get teary now. Yeah, I had my man. He's absolutely phenomenal. And through that time when I was so sick for so many years, not once did he ever put me down, or not once did he ever make me feel bad for not working. Like we even ended up in like $120,000 of credit card and personal loan debt from all of like my medical bills and me not working, and just, you know, things pile up, and it was just a hard freaking season of life. And he just was so steadfast. So he was definitely a very key support for me. But other than that, I sort of cut myself off from the world in that time, and I was seeking I was seeking support through medical professionals for a while, but then they even said to me, they're like, look, you've reached the end of the medical road. Like, we actually don't know what's going on. We can't help you. And so then I went into the natural health road. And so, like, you know, I kind of bounced around from person to person trying to find help. But at the end of the day, it was me. It was having to go into me that was the thing where I started finding my way. And so a very empowering time of my life. I still journey with chronic health stuff. Like I have chronic fatigue, which people wouldn't think considering my energy, but I do. And it could be very up and down. And I also have chronic pain as well. And my lymph fluid still leaks out of my skin and that kind of stuff. But you know, I'm a good 80% better than what I was at that time of my life. And the journey of that, I wouldn't change that for anything. Like everything good in me has come from this. You know, like everything that I love about myself and what I get to do in the world has been birthed through my pain and my suffering. And so I just wouldn't change that. And the Gene Keys teaches us that as well. And I think that's where I came into this deep acceptance of the road that I've walked, because the Gene Keys so clearly show us how suffering is that grace, and it is our portal back home to ourselves if we allow it to be. And so the more I've surrendered on that path, just the more magic you unlock and the better life gets, without the circumstances changing, but just the way in which you see them. And yeah, it's been one heck of a 10, 12 years.
Oh, I see you, honey. I'm so proud of you. Like,
Oh, thank
honestly,
you, Daleen.
I just want to come give you a big cuddle.
I'm so emotional. I never expected, I knew I was emotional today, and I was like, oh, you know, but just everything you're saying, like, wow, it lands for me personally as well. Because I also have chronic pain, and it's so interesting. The body truly does keep the score. And, you know, when you go through trauma, you don't realize that then if you don't face that stuff, it's going to come out and manifest in other ways, or your protector parts are going to come forward and they're going to, you know, exhibit areas of pain. And it's just, yeah, it's a wild journey. But that's one of the things I'm working on at the moment, is that chronic pain aspect of my healing journey, and really unpacking that trauma that my body has held on to. Yes, I've done it in my mind a lot. And, I've really unpacked the onion layers there. But now it's like, oh, hang on a minute. My body actually needs to catch up now. And, I need to acknowledge all those different parts of me and the little parts of me. And so, yeah, it's just that really hit home for me.
Yeah. Oh, my heart's with you on that journey, Jules.
I'm going to cry.
Coming home to her is actually something we wrote when we first started this podcast. So you saying this is like just confirmation that we're on the right path, and just bringing beautiful humans on to collaborate and share the space with is just so beautiful. I love it so much.
Yeah, because how many people, would know about these gene keys? I've heard of them. One of my very good friends, Leah, is really invested into the gene keys at the moment. And I think she's going to move mountains with it as well. But at the same time, you hear of it and you're like, oh, what really is that? But just you sharing this wealth and this knowledge really has opened up my eyes in a way I never thought possible.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. And the thing about the gene keys, for a lot of people is it may spark the interest, and they may go and pop their birth information in and get their gene keys profile, and it comes up and it's like these 11 circles with all these numbers and lines and colors. And some people get to that point and they're like, what the fuck do I do with this? And then it just feels too much or too overwhelming, or like, I don't know. Or maybe they read a bit of the book and they're like, well, I don't even know what he's saying there. The first time I read my life's work, I understood like a couple of sentences. Like it's this transmission that really requires this long-term view and this patient path and this slow unpacking. And a lot of people are yet to realize that that is where the beauty is. So many people are looking for a quick fix. And I know I definitely was. And I mean, no wonder I was looking for a quick fix. I'm sure you've journeyed through this as well, Jules. Like when you're in so much pain, you want a quick fix because you're in that pain comes with fear, and we're looking for something to fix us. And so I think when someone comes to the gene keys with that point of view, like it's just not going to stick yet, because it's more about this patient path of long-term inquiry. However, the patient path is the only path that exists. So the patient path is actually the fast track. And so like what people find when they come to the gene keys, it can be the first experience where they've slowed down on their spiritual development and personal development journey, because we're so used to churning through books and churning through podcasts, and we finish one and we've started the next, and we're not integrating. We're not like taking the things we're learning about ourselves and going deeper to access that light in our DNA. And so the experience of the gene keys is a very different experience than what a lot of us are used to. And it's just people are really starting to see that now. So in the last year and a half, the gene keys has grown exponentially because people are starting to realize this. But it takes doing enough quick fixes that get you worse off to come to the realization that, all right, I'm going to put the fucking work in.
Yeah.
And that's really, what the gene keys is.
It really is about the journey and not the destination, right? And I know it sounds so like cliche and whatever, but it really is. Even we've realized that it's like you have these certain little levels that it's like you unlock, but sometimes you have to go like a little bit backwards to propel forward, or have this like I guess you would call it like an initiation or integration process, like. And we all try to like hustle our way through healing as well, and it's just we can't do that.
On my stories the other day, like one of my clients, she was like, oh my God, Hayley, it's finally dropped. I can't hustle my way to healing. I'm like, yeah.
Literally.
And it is, it's the journey, but it's not even the journey, it's who you become
in the
on
process.
the journey.
For sure.
And you gotta take the time and dig in and actually look at yourself. And that's why the gene keys are so fantastic. A lot of other books and teachings out there are telling you this thing out here, if you come and do this, you'll be better. Whereas the gene keys is just a constant mirroring back into yourself. They're not a knowledge that you read and you're like, I finished the gene keys book, I know the gene keys. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you bloody don't. It's about the gene keys are just portals for you to enter into yourself so that you can unlock your wisdom to come through. So what you'll unlock from, say, your life's work gene key isn't going to be the stuff that's in the book, but the stuff that's in the book led you in here, and you're going to have your own fresh wisdom that is yours, that is in alignment with that gene key. And that's the true transformational path, when you're accessing your magic, not applying someone else's.
Wowzy.
Mm.
Mine is
I feel like that's come at the perfect divine timing. Like I definitely feel like this is something, and my friend's been talking about it to me for a while. I think it's definitely something I need to bring on board for my journey. And for a long time, I was in fight or flight. I was in my sympathetic nervous system, and I haven't been there for so long because I've been so grounded. I have all the tools. I have the tools to put in place, to keep myself operating with a calm central nervous system. But then, the last couple of days, I've been stuck home with my toddy. 8 days now it's been. Oh my God. And that's really brought me back into my sympathetic nervous system along with the chronic pain. So, it's just crazy to be back in this place that I was in and so used to for my entire life. And then now that I'm back in there, it's so scary and it's so unknown to me. And it's like, it's like I was never here my entire life because I've been in such a grounded, calm state for the last couple of months that now it's like, whoa, okay. So yeah.
I see you, honey.
Thank you.
How can people...
She said that to me about 100 times this week.
Sometimes that's all you need. Just, I see you. I love you. I wish I could come be your chauffeur and go get donuts.
This morning, she's like, just was saying some beautiful words, and I just finished my makeup, and I just started bawling, and I was like, no.
That's so special, having that sisterhood and that love, because we don't need anyone to fix us. We just need to remember what it feels like to be in the presence of love. And that's what heals us at the deepest degree, is just being loved and being seen. Amen. That's it.
Actually, there was like a quote where it's like, you can't fix it, but you just stand on the side and watch her walk through the fire. Like, just hold your friend when they're going through things, and that's all you can really do sometimes. We're not here to fix it, just because you've got lessons and a journey to go through yourself, so you'll learn that on the way. Oh, I love us.
It's just so sweet.
Sisterhood is so important, honest to God. It's so important. So yeah, isn't that how you found the podcast Call It Out? Was self-love school?
I was in the first intake of self-love school back in 2020.
Wow.
I was living out in the country town in WA at the time, and I remember I was in like my last sort of breakthrough space of like my deep dark hole at that time. And this was pre-Gene Keys when I came into self-love school. And that's where I saw your post come up. I was like, hell yeah, I want to come and chat to you guys.
I love that. That's so good. I actually, when I posted that, I'm like, I literally messaged Jules and I'm like, I want to post this thing, but it's kind of cringe, but like, I just had this message come through, and then like, we were just like, what the fuck? Like, we just had to put all these new systems in place, and we were just like, whoa, like that little thought turned into something so incredible. And that's another sign that like just trusting those little inklings, like you were saying before, just trust
follow those soul tugs. Absolutely.
And stop ignoring them.
Yes.
I ignored them.
Take it down.
I was like, this is so cringe. Like, I'll take it down later if like no one interacts. And the next minute, I'm like, oh shit. So trust the niggle.
Yes.
How can people work with you, Hayley? And where can we find you?
Yes, well, definitely find me on the gram. I mean, I do love the gram. And you'll see, I've got so many Gene Keys things there on Instagram, especially if you're brand new to the Gene Keys. If you go and you look up your profile, then if you go to my reels and scroll down a little bit, I did a full series of 64 days of Gene Keys where I did one reel for every single Gene Key. And share like the wisdom nuggets from each one. And I've done it in like an outrageous comedic way. So it's a bit entertaining at the same time as having a lot of wisdom so that you can like start to kind of unpack. But if you're brand new to the Gene Keys as well, head to my profile and go to my link and you can download a free guide that I've created. It's called it's what's it even called? Like it's some guide to igniting your soul purpose with the Gene Keys. And it's like everything, videos from me. Then I've also done contemplation questions for all 64 Gene Keys, how to get started, how to read your profile, what do you do with it, like how to best unlock a Gene Key. It's all in there. It's all free for you. So you can go download that. But in terms of actually working with me, I have two separate things that I do. I have my membership, which is called the Journey Home. And that's not specific Gene Keys membership. However, we do Gene Key stuff. So like we do Gene Key study groups. I always bring the Gene Keys into things that I teach. There's a Gene Keys resource hub in there. You can ask all your Gene Keys questions. But then it's everything else. There's a lot of journaling stuff in there. There's courses. I think there's 11 courses in there now, all about how to journey home to yourself, peeling back the layers. There's a full meditation library. I add new ones every month. We do a women's circle once a month. Like it's just a beautiful hub of women coming together who are all on that journey together. And it's for women who are brand new, but also, you know, we got women in there who have been doing the inner work for 30 years. And no matter how far along the road you are, it's a spot where we all convene around the campfire. It's like a village. So there's that I do. And then I have all of my Gene Keys stuff. So I do one-to-one sessions. They're called soul activations. So they're like 2 hours where you sit with me and we go into just one Gene Key. So like it's in depth where we really peel it back and really get you on your road towards really penetrating into that genius. And then I do 4-month one-to-ones where I take women through their full activation sequence. So their life's work, their evolution, their radiance, their purpose. And that's where we dive into the Gene Keys. You get the Voxer coaching, you get the whole shebang. It's just, it is my utter obsession in life, that experience. So yeah, that's my world. And those are the things that I do.
You're a powerhouse, honestly. Crazy.
I just love it. You know, I think this is the thing. When you find what you love in the world, there's no such thing as work. There's just play, really.
Yeah. Amen. And what is your Instagram called? We'll pop all the links in the description below. But what is your Insta?
It's thejourneyhome.tjh.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Come find me there. And also my podcast, which is it's still called TJH. It's going through a rebrand at the moment, but you can find that through the links in my bio as well. And there's lots of Gene Keys episodes and
I'm gonna go
juicy stuff.
I'm gonna binge listen.
Yeah, same. That's my new content for a little while.
I love a potty. You know, I mean, are you guys really enjoying your podcasting journey? Isn't it so fun?
Oh, it's so healing. Like we're just like, it's better than we ever could have imagined. Like it's crazy.
To share your voice is such a healing but empowering process. I mean, you guys empowering. I mean, that's exactly what you're here to do.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially not having a voice for so many years and now just being able to share that, but also have the capacity to open up and collaborate with other women to come on and share their voice, because there's room for everyone at the top. And that's our whole thing, is we just want everyone to empower themselves and empower the other women around them. We just need so much more of that in this world, a lot more love and light and peace. So if we can provide a platform for that, then we are so beyond excited.
Oh,
amen.
Amazing. Well, thank you for doing what you do, beautiful women.
No worries. Thank you for doing what you do. And now, having probably mind mapped the rest of our next couple of weeks, we'll be diving deep into Gene Keys. That'll be our voice note content for a while.
That's exciting. And hey, come ask me questions whenever you need. Like, it is my favorite thing to talk about. So please slide on into those DMs with your Gene Key.
Thank you so much.
Hayley, you do so much for everyone around you. I can just hear how much you pour your love into the other women, into your husband. What are your top self-care tips for yourself to keep you grounded and
Mm.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so important for me in my profile, my Gene Key profile. I'm a 5-1, which is like line 5, line 1. And the line 5 is this part of me that's very like, I love to teach and speak and be with people and extroverted. And then the line 1 part of me is introverted, behind closed doors. I thrive in solitude. I need that time. And so I've really built a life that accommodates for who I am. And that life includes a lot of time on my own. And so every morning I sit here at this desk, I light my candle and I write. Journaling for me is just how I found who I am, but now I journal to remember who I am.
Yes.
Because we forget, like every single day, I take the time out to remember who the fuck I am. And I love that process. And then the other thing, other than that I do is I I really am so aware of my emotions and my shadow patterns that as soon as they sort of start to come up, I deal with them straight away. Like that is the ultimate self-love for me, is self-honesty, and just like, okay, Hayley, this has come up. Let's sit with it instead of avoiding. And then, like, the last thing that is important to me is I take Hayley days where I call them Hayley days, where if I'm feeling under the pressure or if I'm feeling like a bit, how you can get sometimes, especially in terms of business, I just take the day off. I have a Hayley day where I do things that I love to do that have nothing to do with business or anything. They're just simply things that Hayley likes to do because she's the master behind all of this, and so she must be taken care of. And so yeah, I take myself out for solo lunch dates, I go to the movies, I just whatever I feel like, and I forget about everything for a day, and that's so important.
My inner
Beautiful.
child loves the sound of that. Like I could just feel myself wanting to giggle at the end there. And I was like,
Yes,
that. And I was
so
like, oh,
fun.
that's little Jules. Little Jules is like, yes, we're having Jules days from now on.
Yeah,
And I could,
yeah.
that like ignited my inner child there.
Yeah, and I tell you what, after a day like that, you go, oh, what was it that I was so worried about again? Like, because we can get so caught up in like the pressure cooker of what it is to be a business owner, and we can forget about the reason why we were here in the first place, and who we are beyond all of this. And then after I have a Hayley day, I enter back into my business stuff the next day and I'm feeling so refreshed. And so, if I wasn't to take those days, it gets too heavy. So yeah, I am me outside of my business as much as I am me in my business. You know what I mean?
Amen, sister. Amen. We all need
Yeah.
a little bit more fun sometimes. I think,
Oh,
we do get
yeah.
too serious for sure.
Yeah. Question
If,
around that quickly before we move on to the next topic.
Yes.
I just wanted to know what boundaries do you set for yourself on a Haley day? Like, how do you not go on your socials? Do you let family and close friends know? Like, how do you establish and set those boundaries for yourself? Because sometimes it can be so hard when you're taking a day for yourself and you pour so much love into everybody and they're still in your DMs and they're still messaging and calling you. How do you draw that fine line? Do you do that on a Haley day?
Yeah, I don't even think that I have any boundaries on a Hayley day. I I guess in terms of boundaries in my life, I think I've become so grounded into my own self-love that those sorts of things have become almost effortless in my life. And I guess over time, I've taught people how to treat me. And so I don't get overly amounts of phone calls, and if someone did call, I'm happy to answer it. I'm happy not to. And like, I guess I don't make that mean anything about, I'm not worried about what anyone else thinks of me. So, I think, yeah, like I never think about like, oh no, if I take a day off, I'm going to disappoint people. I more so see it as when I take a day off, I empower everyone. And like I even see that like in my clients and things like that. If I need to take a day off and I'm going to let them all know, I don't apologize. I don't over explain. I just say, hey guys, just letting you know I'm having today off, but I'll add an extra day onto your package. And they're all like, amazing. And I think that I actually, through me taking my days, what I'm doing is I'm actually modeling that self-love, self-care, not just like, hey, self-care, like,
Yeah.
hashtag self-care Sunday, but true self-care. And so, yeah, I don't feel like, yeah, I guess my boundaries are more, yeah, I don't even think I have any. I guess I probably used to, but I don't anymore. It just feels so easy.
It's just who you are now. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, which is cool. And you modeling that as a coach, that's showing them that they can do the same as well. You've just gave me an inkling because I'm like, I want to step into the coaching, but I'm like, there's some days where I need a daily day, like, and I get so obsessed with things that I'm just like, I've got to do it, and I'm like hardcore. But then sometimes I just need a daily day. So you've just given me a little inkling that you can do that in the coaching world as well.
Absolutely, you can. I think it's so important, and I think I've definitely gotten better at that. I remember like over a year and a half ago, I got struck down with COVID after I'd just been on a 5-week holiday. So I'd already taken time off. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to be back soon, like into my membership. We were having all these big events. Then I got COVID really bad and I was out for like 4 weeks. And I was feeling like, oh my God, like these women are paying to be here. And I've been away for so long, and I put a post up in there and I was just honest and I let them all know what was going on. And those women rallied around me so beautifully. And then other ones were sliding into my DMs like, hey, I can run this. I'll do this. I'll do this. And it's, if we just allow, if we just allow it instead of me, imagine if I was just like, no, I've got to push through and no, I can't let them see that I'm having a hard time. That doesn't help anyone, including them. That's actually not highest good for them. And so something that I've definitely learned through my Gene Keys journey is what's highest good for me is highest good for all. Because if I'm basing it upon like what I think, if I think, oh no, I have to do this for them because that's highest good for them, but then it's not highest good for me, it was never highest good for anyone. And so that's, I guess, my boundary is what's highest good for me. And then I just trust that and I release anything that comes after that because I just trust it.
Yeah. Amen. So powerful.
Literal queen. Literal queen.
She's amazing.
I know. I'm just in awe. I'm like, I just feel like, I'm feeling so empowered after this episode. So thank you so much, Hayley. You are just a beautiful beacon of light, and the lives that you are changing. And even just from this, this 45-minute podcast that we've been sitting here doing, so many women I feel are going to get so much value from this episode. So we cannot thank you enough for, just for sharing so in depth with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Like just being offered a platform to share what you're passionate about and to connect with other women who are on a similar journey. This is what it's all about, right?
Amen,
Absolutely.
sister.
Yeah.
We always end with 2 questions, and one of them being, if you could give your younger self any advice, what would it be?
I would just tell her you are safe to be you. You're safe to be all of you. Like the larrikin inside of me. Like just be her because you're going to enjoy your life so much more.
Amen. And the other question is there someone listening right now that's putting off their dreams? What advice would you give to them?
Again, it's safety. You are safe to dream because that's the thing at the crux of it. If you're finding that your dreams aren't quite coming into fruition or you're like, I don't know what to do, it's safety. You're not giving yourself the safe space to dream. So just put your hand on your heart and say, I am safe to dream, and it will keep cracking open and you'll let that thing come through.
Amen. Thank you so much for coming on, Hayley. Like, this is a powerful episode. Just so grateful that you came on.
I'm so happy to have been here, and it was lovely to meet you both face to face and get to chat about all these things. I could talk about this shit all day long, gals. All day long.
Trust me, we could as well. But I think you've left us with some powerful takeaways, and I am so excited I get to edit this episode. I'm so excited to edit this. and get it all organized to drop.
Amazing. Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to the EWP.
Thank you, beautiful humans.
We hope you feel inspired to take back your power. Thank you for listening into the EWP Potty with Jules and Day. We want to challenge you to share this potty with someone you love. Let's get all women involved. Follow us on Insta at empoweringwomen_project. Facebook and TikTok at Empowering Women Project.
We invite you to interact with us on our socials, our threads, and in our DMs. We are open to collaborating and invite you to reach out if you feel inspired to be a guest on our EWP podcast. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. We encourage you to start believing in yourself and the magic of the universe.